Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well today. I wanted to just come on and talk about how to give an excellent mediumship reading. I have been given the opportunity to work with a lot of you in open sessions on talking about this topic on how to give an excellent mediumship reading, and a lot of you have been asking when I'm going to do another open session discussing this further. I'm honestly working every weekend for the next few months, so I'm not sure when I'm going to get to do this. So I thought I would just come on and discuss a few talking points from this presentation. Okay? So, how to give an excellent mediumship reading. Before you even start this, you have to first begin to understand the purpose of mediumship. What is the purpose of mediumship? To me, just to me, my belief, the purpose of mediumship is to be able to touch the soul of another with the help of the energy from spirit, but to move in and just touch the soul of my sitter as I'm working with them, as spirit is working through me. Mediumship should always provide love, should always provide healing, should always provide evidence of so-called death from the spirit communicator, and most importantly, I feel should always be uplifting. The sitter should always leave the reading happy, content, at peace. Okay? So it's important to just remember this. Anything from the spirit world is always going to be uplifting. I'm not saying that they won't talk about regrets or things that haven't been said. That's okay. That's the human condition. But the sitter should never be freaked out or leave feeling worried or scared or things like that. So it's always going to leave the sitter feeling better about their loved ones in spirit, or themselves perhaps. It should always be purposeful. There's always a reason for mediumship reading. There's always a reason that the spirit world comes through and speaks through you to their loved one. So please remember that. The purpose of mediumship is to provide healing, to provide love, to provide evidence of so-called death, to be purposeful, and to be uplifting. It's important to remember that. And I find these are nice sort of guidelines to have in the back of your psyche whenever you work with spirit and whenever you're the ambassador to the spirit world. Also, I find when we go into a mediumship reading or anything we do with the spirit world, you have to think about your mindset. What mindset are you taking into a mediumship reading? What mindset are you taking in to your relationship with the spirit world? What is your relationship with the spirit world? Your relationship with the spirit world is something you have to build on your own. I do believe it's a lifelong process, and it continues to strengthen and grow and become more significant the more you work with spirit. We're being of service. We are allowing ourselves to be used as a conduit and a vessel for the spirit world. We are the vessel to allow the spirit world to speak through us, to heal through us. We're being of service to spirit. So anything you do with mediumship or the spirit world in general, you need to ask yourself, am I being of service? Am I going into this with the pure intention of being of service and not about how good you can be or have it being ego-driven or things like that? We're there to be of service to the spirit world. When we sit and we think about our mindset and being of service, you also then have to do your own self-work. You have to look at yourself. You have to look at these blocks that I find that we all have, that are created from childhood, that are created from negative self-talk, whether it be whether they come from you, or they're originated from family, people telling you you were less than, not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not thin enough, not tall enough, etc., etc., etc. We all have these blocks. So you have to learn to go within and start healing yourself. The self-work for a light worker, for a medium, for a healer, etc., etc., is never done. We're layers. We're layers of an onion, and every time you get to the next layer, there are many more to get through. So you need to judge your reactions. Why am I reacting like this? Why is my reaction when I get a no from a sitter? Why do I immediately start to panic or get thrown out of my power? A lot of times this comes from not wanting to be wrong, not wanting to be called out, and has nothing to do with the relationship with spirit. Spirit always shows up when we show up. But of course, we have to learn how to work with the spirit world and how to interpret what they're giving us through our clairs and through our subconscious and through our spirit. But I find that all of these sort of roadblocks we have from our younger years, childhood, young adulthood, whatever, we immediately start to react. That you don't want to be wrong, you don't want to look like an idiot, but you have to just get past that. Why am I reacting like that? Okay, for me, to be honest, it had to do with my childhood, from not really being seen and not being heard and not being able to sort of express myself. So I would immediately start to panic when I start to work with spirit and I didn't get the correct information, would get a no, whatever, no one could take the contact. I would immediately fall out of my power. And the more I sat with these reactions, the more I realized that this is me, it's not spirit. Spirit needs the time to work with me. They need the time to develop this relationship with me, to develop me. And the fear never had to do with spirit not showing up. It had to do with myself, with Joseph, the man, the boy, whatever. So I really had to go within and start healing myself. And I'm not done. Believe me, there are many times that this child that was me will make his presence known. Will definitely pop up, but I've learned to understand, he's here, okay. You have to deal with these feelings, you have to deal with these reactions. It's all in the past, let it go. I send myself healing, I ask the spirit world to work with me on healing, and I move on. And I just try to become as smooth as possible to be the purest and the clearest channel possible for spirit. So self-work, self-work, self-work. People don't talk about this enough. When we start working with spirit and start going into mediumship, I do think there should be like a self-help group for mediums. That we should have a support group to talk about these things. But it's something, by the time you realize that you have to deal with these things and they're thrown in front of you, it's kind of too late because you're kind of hooked. Spirit has you already. So you just have to get through it. And a lot of times these blocks or these pauses come from ourselves. They don't come from spirit. So you have to keep working on yourself. You have to keep examining you as a person, as a woman, as a man. Why am I reacting like that? Why am I feeling like this? And get to the root of it. And also heal yourself and give yourself permission to be healed. Harry Edwards, one of the greatest spirit healers of all time, said, "Healer, heal thyself." We have to heal ourselves. We have to at least get on the road to heal ourselves, to be able to provide healing to the spirit world. And like I said before, from the spirit world to the sitter. And like I said before, mediumship is about healing, but we also have to heal ourselves to provide the healing. Our spirit. We all have to realize that we're all spirit. Our spirit body, our spirit essence is way more important than our physical bodies. Our spirit body is what the spirit world sees. And our spirit body is how the spirit will communicate with us. It's a spirit-to-spirit communication. Our true essence is our spirit. And it is our spirit that God sees and the spirit world see. So you have to go within and take the time for your own spirit. Honor your own spirit. Build your own power. Build your own light. Expand your light. Bigger and bigger and bigger until you connect to the power and the light of the universe and to God, and meld with God, blend with God, take in God's power, take in God's light. But you have to realize that we're all spirit, having this human existence for the short time here in the physical world, but that we're not just this meat body, that we're renting this body for this time in the physical world. And when we pass, we'll go back to God, go back to the spirit world. And I do believe, my belief is that we become teachers. We are the brave and tough souls that have come to this physical world in this really quick and hard and dense learning opportunity. And I do believe we then teach other lovely spirits and other lovely souls in the spirit world about our experiences here in the physical world. It's a very quick, hard, dense, school that we have here in the physical world. But I do believe we chose to come here. And I also do believe we passed the quality test of God. I think I talked about this in another video. Passed that test with God and the spirit world that we could handle this physical existence. So it's important just to realize that you are a being of light. You are a spiritual being within this physical body. And at the end of the day, it really is about your spirit connecting to the spirit world. So that's important. Just remember, you are a spiritual being. You are a spirit being in the physical world. Okay? So when we're talking about spirit, I just want to mention a bit about mediumship from the spirit world's perspective. I'm pointing behind me. I don't know why, because I feel the spirit world in front of me. We all feel the spirit world differently. Some people feel it on their right, some people on their left, some above, some behind, some in front, some within them. But we're all unique, thank God, and we all experience the spirit world in a unique way for us. If you think about the spirit world, when we're sitting down as a medium, they will immediately start coming towards you, and we're getting ready to work, and it's a reunion for them. They are so happy. It's a joyful experience. Mediumship is a joyful experience. They are going to get to work through you to speak to their loved ones sitting in front of you. So whenever I sit down to do a mediumship reading or even a spiritual assessment, it doesn't matter, I feel the joy and the happiness and the gratitude of the spirit world behind me. In a way, it's like a spirit party. They're happy. And they are so grateful that you have chosen to be of service to them, to allow them to work through you. The spirit world works on a higher energy, on a higher vibration, which is joy and love. So whenever I work with spirit, I really try to lean in to their joy and their happiness and their essence, and that right away that starts to raise my vibration. Because if we can try to match their vibration and bring up the frequency, it's easier for them to work with us. So I always feel their love and their joy, and I get really excited and I get really happy. Anything I do with spirit makes me happy, and it raises my vibration. So it's really, think about that. It's important to be happy, to be joyful, to smile, to be open to your sitter, to put your sitter at ease. No one likes a sad-looking medium. I'm not saying you have to smile like a crazy person the whole time, but be open, be friendly, be approachable, be normal. It's the best feedback I get from a sitter. It's like, wow, I just feel like I'm speaking to an old friend and you put me at ease. It's sort of psychology you have to do in a way to get the sitter, because with the energy that I mentioned before and the frequency, you also have to bring the sitter's energy up. Talk to them first. Explain to them how you work as a medium, and explain to them a bit about that mediumship is a joyful experience and it's all about love. And you'll see their energy goes up as well. So if I have a sitter where their energy is high and they're happy and their frequency is rising, and I'm raising my vibration, and the spirit world already has a high vibration, it all just flows beautifully. It's all going up, and we can all ride on the wave of energy from the spirit world. When I do a mediumship reading, right away I start speaking quicker. Anything I do with spirit, my speech starts to get quicker and more intense, and there's more energy behind it. And I really feel like I'm just riding the wave of the spiritual energy. But how do you understand what the spirit world is telling you? How can you truly know and sort of perceive the information that the spirit world is impressing on you through your clairs, through your spirit? We as people have a very active conscious mind. And I talked about this before. I'm not sure in a video or not, but definitely in a few of my classes, that we as humans, our conscious mind is there to protect us. Our conscious mind is there scanning for danger, so that saber-toothed tiger doesn't come and kill us. So we're not banged over the head with a club by a caveman. So we're sort of bred, and it's in our genetics to be hyper aware. So it's sort of when we start speaking about mediumship and quieting the mind and becoming passive, it's really the antithesis of how we're bred as humans. So, but you need to learn to quiet your conscious mind. You need to learn to meditate, learn to sit in the quiet. We can never completely quiet our conscious mind, I don't feel, because then we'd be dead or in a coma. I don't even know if in a coma, no one thinks, but you can quiet your thoughts. You can find this space between thoughts, and you can learn how to train your conscious mind when one thought ends and right before another begins, to try to stay in this space. And it's this quiet space between your thoughts. If you can use this as a focal point where you can sort of activate the subconscious mind, because I do feel like the spirit world speak with us through our subconscious, which is connected to our spirit. So you have to just learn to meditate, to sit in the quiet, to allow your conscious mind to kind of just be dulled a bit as your subconscious mind awakens. And you can hear the subtleties, and you can see, feel, know all of the information that the spirit world is impressing on you through 1, 2, 3, or all your clairs. Okay? So you just have to learn to meditate and sit in the quiet and build your power. It's a slow process to quiet the mind, to still the mind, or attempt to still the mind. It's like a muscle. You can't just go from not meditating at all or having problems meditating to saying, I'm going to meditate for an hour a day. It doesn't work like that. You're going to drive yourself crazy, and you're not going to be able to do it. Start with focusing on your breath. Start with trying to figure out the space between your conscious thoughts for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, etc., etc. And you'll see, you'll be able to sit in the quiet. And when you're able to sit in the quiet, just ask to sit in the presence of the spirit world. Ask the spirit world to come closer to you. Not for contact, just to feel them, just to feel their love. And I feel like when we sit with the spirit world in a quiet state, there's this transference of energy that starts to happen. They get to know us, we get to know them, the energy starts to flow back and forth, and then this energy starts to become familiar to us. So when we're doing a mediumship reading, you'll know when the spirit world starts to come closer. You'll know how your physicality reacts when the spirit world comes near. You might feel slight touches on your face, your heart might quicken a bit, your heartbeat might quicken a bit, your breathing might become a bit shallow, or you might feel just light touches on your head. Whatever you feel, whatever the tell from spirit is that they're coming closer, you'll be able to figure out what this is by just sitting in the presence of spirit. And then when you start understanding and you start giving mediumship readings and you have a sitter sitting in front of you, you just start giving what you get. Give what you get. Try to bypass the conscious mind and stay in the space where your subconscious is just allowing this information to move through your spirit, to move through your vocal cords and out of your mouth, and just give what you get. If you think and you analyze the information and the evidence that's coming from spirit, your conscious mind immediately kicks on. So it's important to trust spirit. You have to trust spirit. You really have to give spirit the gift of your confidence and your trust, and just allow them to speak through you. Allow them to impress on you that they would like to give you a name, that they would like to bring through a physical description, and just give this information. Maybe you won't be right, but the spirit world will understand, he's getting it. He understands that we're trying to impress a name on him. He didn't get the name right at this moment, but we understand that he's feeling there's a name coming through. We all want to get names. Names are a beautiful ability to have, but you have to start somewhere. So in your subconscious, if you're starting to hear the name Mark, and you're just not trusting yourself to say it, I do feel the spirit world will then say, well, if we're going to send our energy to him and use so much of our energy to impress a name on him, and he's not even going to trust us enough or trust himself enough to say it, why should we bother? But if you just try, and if they give you the name Mark and you might say Scott, Bob, whatever, at least they'll understand, he's getting it. Okay, so now we have to work. We have to maybe adjust our vibration, our frequency, to have him really hear, feel, know, see the name that we're giving him. But it's important just to work with them. Nobody gets everything right the first time, second time, or third time. You have to work at it. You have to really trust yourself and trust spirit and just give what you get. It's hard because the conscious mind does not like missing pieces. The conscious mind will always try to sort of weave a story out of a piece or two of evidence. But you just have to give this evidence. And if you're giving evidence and the sitter's looking at you like, no, don't get thrown off. You have to look at no's as an opportunity to learn. No's are the best lessons we can get. They're the best teachable moments that spirit can give us. Because if I'm saying to my sitter, I'm seeing like a red car, and the sitter's looking at me like I'm nuts, what I do is I'll just hand the red car back to spirit and see if they'll morph it or change it or expand it, and then I'll just give what I get. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't a red car. It was a fire engine, a fire truck. And then the sitter might say, "Oh yes, actually, my grandfather who you were bringing through, he was a fireman." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." Because a lot of times people are like, "Oh no, the spirit world, they're getting faint, they're moving back." I don't really think that's the case. I think our energy is dropping. So during a reading, it's very important to sort of gauge and manage your power. Are you powered up? Are you in your power? You always have to adjust your power during a reading. Where am I? Am I powered up? Am I in my power? Okay, get back in your power. How do you get back in your power? That's a unique thing to you. For me, I just move forward because I'm rather dramatic. I move back sort of into the spotlight on a stage, and then I'm with my power again. But I'm always checking my power during a reading. It's very subtle, but I can tell if my energy starts to dip, and then I have to bring my energy back up, and then the spirit world can work on my energy and work with my energy, and they become clearer, they become louder. I can see them better, I can hear them better, I can feel them more. But you always have to look to see where your power is. Don't pay attention too much to the sitter's face, because that can definitely throw you out of your power. When I'm doing a reading, like if I'm reading myself, I'm actually allowing me as the sitter to go a bit fuzzy in the foreground, and my focus is going behind me at the moment to the frame pictures on the wall. So of course it looks like I'm looking at the sitter, but I'm looking at the pictures on the wall so I don't get so distracted from the sitter's facial expressions. Because as sensitives, we can sort of tell if we're on the right track or not, and I don't want that to sort of skew my perception of the evidence that's coming through. Always check your power. You have to stay in your power. Your power is the greatest tool that you can use to connect with the spirit world. And then you just build it and keep building it. And when you can really learn to control your power and expand your power and build your light, it can help you in all aspects of your life. Because you're just bright. You're a bright spiritual being. You're a being of light. And then things just seem to work out. I don't know why, but it's sort of like laws of attraction sort of put to use in practical terms. The other thing that is important is to understand the power of the subconscious in terms of this negative speak that we spoke about in the beginning. A lot of people will say, "Oh, my clairaudience is really bad. I don't see. I'm really bad with names," but in a way, it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. It's also laws of attraction in a way. So instead of doing that, what I've learned to do is to tell myself out loud, usually, my ability to bring through names is growing stronger every day. My ability to communicate through my clairvoyance is improving on a daily basis. And I keep repeating these phrases. And somehow, subconsciously, it helps. But if you just keep saying, I'm bad with names, I can't see, I can't hear, I'm not very good with my clairsentience, it's just, I think the spirit world is listening, and they're like, well, if they think they can't do it, why should we try? We're just going to work with them through their claircognizance, because they just think they're claircognizant and not anything else. But I do think a really beautiful and well-rounded mediumship reading is when all clairs start firing, if it's within your ability. So it's important to work with your subconscious. What I do is, before I go to bed in the evening and when I get up in the morning, because that's when my conscious mind, my monkey mind, is not quite awake or not fully awake, I will just say, I am a medium. I am of service to the spirit world, and then I'll start with, and my abilities to bring through names is getting better every day. My clairaudience is growing. My clairsentience is growing stronger, blah, blah, blah. And it just helps. So just try that, because there is a connection with the subconscious and mediumship that I know, and there's a huge chunk of psychology within being a successful medium. So just the last thing I just want to talk about is a lot of times when we're sitting in a one-on-one mediumship reading situation or platform or gallery reading, we're up there and we're like, oh God, I have to perform. But we're not up there alone. We're there with spirit. Spirit is there to support us. So it's always important to sort of try to shift your awareness to the essence of the spirit world when you're working, that they're there to work with you. They're there to help you. They're there to give you power, give you confidence, give you support, and that you're not in this alone. It's a partnership. Just take the hand of spirit and let them guide you. Let them tell their story through you. Let them speak to their loved one who's sitting in front of you, and just feel that they're there to help you and to work with you. The less you're involved in the reading, meaning with your conscious mind, the better the reading will be. For as cute or as entertaining as you might be as a medium, the sitters aren't coming to see you, or they shouldn't be. They should be coming because they've heard and they've seen you work before, and they know that you're a clear and pure channel for the spirit world and their intelligence and their evidence of so-called death. Okay? So there you go. There's sort of like a wrap up. I'm sure I'm missing a few things with the lectures, because I was kind of doing this without my full notes. But I just wanted to get this out there and record it, and sort of have you guys have a listen to it if you are so inclined to do so. Thank you very much, and I will see you all soon, and love to everybody. Okay, bye.